Hi friends, welcome back to Three Barrow Farm and to our pantry challenge that we are undergoing at the moment. It is week 4 and we have been doing quite well, although this week I have gone into my usual on the go sort of mode because I've been quite busy, but we have done quite well without purchasing most things we'd normally just go out and purchase every week, and we haven't really been purchasing any vegetables to supplement what's been coming out of the garden and what we have in the pantry that we have preserved, or in the freezer rather, as well. We did, however, recently do an order because we were going to Melbourne and we were going past the bulk store that we do all our ordering through. We decided to pick up some things that we'd run out of. We hadn't run out of sesame seeds, but we were getting close to running out of these. And I do like to put sesame seeds on top of the gluten-free bread that I make. But we had run out of chia seeds. So we got quite a decent amount of chia seeds. Hopefully this will see us through for a long while. And we had completely run out of brown rice, which I mill up to put into our gluten-free bread that we make. So we purchased those, and while we were there, we thought, well, we've done without cashews for a long time, so we purchased a bag of cashews as well. So we have, I think, a 5-kilo bag of cashews in the pantry now, which is lovely because I have been missing them. I also purchased some fruit because, as you have probably heard me say every single video of this pantry challenge, we are in summer at the moment and we can't pass up buying some of the beautiful Australian grown fruit that's on offer at the moment. So I did buy a whole watermelon, which we have not cut into yet, and I got some stone fruit and a few bananas. I also purchased 2 capsicums because I love having a large variety of vegetables. And while we're slowly getting some vegetables in the garden, I don't like to avoid getting all the nutrients through our vegetables into our bodies. So I did purchase 2 red capsicums and they will go into meals next week. So as I mentioned, this week has been pretty much making things that I've already made before and eating things that were familiar to us and that we could make with what we have on hand. I'm pulling carrots out of the garden, so I have carrots again. We of course have a lot of celery in the freezer we're working through. So there's those sort of base vegetables that I use for a lot of dishes. I also have, I think I've got 4 onions left from the purchase I made about 4 weeks ago before we embarked on this challenge. And I've got all the spring onions and Egyptian walking onions that are all diced up and in the freezers. And there are a lot of those. So I'm trying to work through those. But I'm very aware that I have some leeks in the garden that will need to be harvested soon-ish, depending on how they go through this heat wave that we're having at the moment. So I will be using those over the frozen ones if I need to. We ran out of bread, so my family didn't like that very much. I can cope very well without bread. I love bread, but it's not something that I seek after anymore. I seek after salads and fresh fruit and curries and things like that. I'd much rather have something with rice than have something with bread. Anyhow, my family really wanted some. So on Thursday, I made some flatbreads and I used up some of the flour, the wheat flour that I have in my pantry, which I'm trying to slowly work through. And everyone was really happy to have some bread for lunch that day. I made a brown rice salad, which is one of my favorite salads to make in the summertime. It has tuna in it and vegetables, whatever vegetables I have on hand. I usually throw in a capsicum, carrot, This time, I think all I had was carrots and some greens. So I got some kale from the garden and a lettuce as well. And I put those into the salad. It also has some toasted nuts in it. I usually put toasted cashews, but I didn't have any at that point. So it had just toasted almonds in it. And I put a dressing in it, which is olive oil, lemon juice. Did I add lemon juice? I'm trying to remember whether I added lemon juice because I've got lemons in the freezer, but I might have had one lemon left over that I squeezed to put into it. So olive oil, lemon juice, and I also put tamari sauce in it as well. And of course, salt and pepper to season it. I usually add a whole heap of herbs into the salad as well, but the parsley's almost getting to the point where I can harvest a little bit of parsley. But we're really low on herbs except for basil. But I'd already done a basil harvest and had put a huge amount into the dehydrator. So I didn't have any basil to put into it unless I wanted to strip the plants bare, which I don't want to do. I want them to continue to grow for at least another month or two. My kids experimented with doing a few recipes with the cornflakes. So these cornflakes have been in our pantry for many years now, and they did a recipe with some chocolate chips, I believe, where they melted the chocolate and added maybe peanut butter, but they also did a peanut butter, honey, and cornflakes slice, and I tried this on that day that they tried it or the day after, and it was very sweet. It was a bit, a bit too sweet for us. So we will definitely cut down on the honey. I think it was 3 cups of cornflakes to 2 cups of peanut butter to 1 cup of honey. That might be wrong. I will put it on the screen, or down below as well, the link to the website that I found the recipe on. But I would highly recommend cutting the honey. It might have even been a different sweetener, maybe maple syrup or another type of syrup. But because we've got a huge tub of honey, we decided to use honey. And yeah, it was quite sweet indeed. I have been given some pine nuts from my mother-in-law. She was getting rid of them because their use-by dates or their best befores were a while ago. Well, actually 2 of them were last year and 1 of them was 2023. Now she gave them to me to give to the chickens, and while I could give these to the chickens, they are expensive, and I don't believe that they're bad at all. Generally, people throw things out when they've passed their best before, but they're actually okay to still use. They may have just lost some of their nutrients. The best before generally gives us an idea of when they sort of start losing the quality of their nutrients and maybe flavor a little bit. This one seems to be very much vacuum sealed. It is the 2023 one, and these 2 are quite loose. Now, I don't see an issue with them being loose as opposed to being air suctioned, but yeah, I'm going to use these in a pesto with all of this glorious greenery from the tops of the carrots that I have harvested just 2 days ago. So I'm going to be making a pesto, and I'm going to be using pine nuts, which I never ever use because pine nuts are expensive. I would prefer to use nuts or seeds to replace pine nuts in pesto. Tastes just as nice, but we're going to see. I haven't done a pesto in a long time with pine nuts, so we will see if the flavour of the pine nuts actually changes the flavour of the pesto, and I don't think it'll change my mind though. I don't think I will start buying pine nuts just because it might taste a little bit nicer. I actually really like walnuts in my pestos, and I like to toast up sunflower seeds. I actually feel like sunflower seeds taste quite similar to toasted pine nuts. So anyhow, I'm going to make a pesto right now. I hope you enjoy watching me make the pesto, and I will continue to show you my meals throughout the rest of this week. There are only 2 more days of this week left, and we will be continuing this challenge into next week and into February, because I am determined to work through the freezer, the deep freeze. And next week I'm going to be working quite a bit, so I'm going to be diving into the freezer for some of the meals and pre-made items that I have prepared and put in the freezer, like the lentil burgers. I will be delving into those next week while I'm working and things are a little bit busier. We're also in another heat wave, and it doesn't seem to be cooling down for 7 days. So there might be even more days added to that, because we can't sort of see into the future forecast past those days. And this means that I will want to be cooking a bit less, or at least using the oven less. I won't be firing up the wood fire oven. I will definitely be using the electric oven and stove to do everything, because it heats up the house less. All right, I'm going to put these sesame seeds and chia seeds away and then get onto this pesto. I hope you are having a wonderful week and enjoying these little pantry challenge videos that I'm putting out once a week. This carrot top pesto has to be one of my favourite pestos to make. I love the fact that you use the tops of the carrots that people would generally throw into the compost, and it also tastes so good. I've got about 8 bags of pesto in the freezer now, and we also had some with pasta that night for dinner. I cooked up some broad bean burgers that were in the freezer to go with it, and it was really delicious. A very green dinner. For dessert, my youngest had made this magnificent jelly and berries dish. She found some packets of jelly hiding in the back of the pantry that I didn't see when I did the pantry tour, and she spent all day putting this layered jelly dish together. On Sunday, I had my usual bowl of fruit and a smoothie for breakfast, then leftovers for lunch, and for dinner I decided to make a millet salad that I hadn't made before. I still have ginger to use up, so I added ginger, garlic, olive oil, lemon and tamari into the sauce of the salad, and then I added the millet, a cooked capsicum, some roasted cashews, and lettuce from my garden. I served it with roasted potatoes. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying this series of our pantry and freezer challenge we are doing at the moment. I will see you again very soon for another video, my friends. Take care. Don't forget to comment below. Let me know some recipes that use noodles. I've got to use up some more noodles, and the yellow split peas. I've got to work through the yellow split peas, but I don't want to make any soup because that's hot. So maybe a dal. I don't know, if you have a really nice dal recipe that uses split peas, let me know. I've got a freezer full of tubs of split peas that I've cooked that need further cooking because they never seem to be cooked enough. Anyway, thank you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.